Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Entrepreneur Parking Lot. Glad to see everybody today. Hope everyone's had a great week. Happy Friday to everybody out there. Hope everyone's had a good start to the new year as well. For all those new people that have joined the Entrepreneur Parking Lot, shout out to you. Can't get to the shout outs as I used to be able to. I lost a little bit of admin rights, still fighting with Facebook. But shout out to all the new entrepreneurs that have joined the group, all the existing entrepreneurs, and all the upcoming entrepreneurs on the group. So if you're new to the group and you're not familiar with what we do here and the purpose of the group, let me introduce myself. My name is Raph. I am the admin of the Entrepreneur Parking Lot, Raph's Corner. What we do in this parking lot, we help entrepreneurs get started in business. And those that are already in business, we also help them get the right resources, the right tools. And it's absolutely a great networking group that can help other entrepreneurs get started in business, rather that be answering a question, directing them to the right person, dropping gems. We call it the gems is a big thing here, where we drop gems of business that you can get real-time information about valuable business links, business resources, business news. So that's what we call gems. So you'll get some gems tonight. I got a special guest. His name is Chris. He should be jumping on soon if he's not already here. Actually, there he is. Let me add him in. So I'm adding him in now. I won't take too much of his shine. I'll give him actually the throne to introduce what he does. So he's joining now. Yo, what's up, man? How are you?
I'm blessed. I'm blessed.
Good.
Super blessed. Super appreciative of you allowing me to spread game and hop on your platform.
No, man, it's our platform. I always say to everybody, the Entrepreneur's Parking Lot is open game for every entrepreneur that can come on, and I'm glad to have you tonight to talk about you. I just briefly talked to the audience just about what we do here in the Entrepreneur Parking Lot for all the new members that came, all the existing ones, and the ones that'll be watching this over again. So I gave them a small shout out to you. Your name is Chris. That's as far as I got. But I'll turn it over to you. You want to tell the team about Chris, what Chris does, your entrepreneurship. I had a chance to talk to Chris a couple weeks ago, actually maybe like a month ago during the holiday. We were able to talk about credit. We were able to talk about his entrepreneurship. And then since then, I've been watching Chris and some of the content he puts out. It's just absolutely phenomenal. I won't take too much of his shine, but definitely check it out. He's got some great content, great resources. So I wanted to give him the spotlight to be able to talk to you guys about some of the great gems and the great resources and some of the services and products he provides to his audience, his clients, and things of that sort. So without further ado, I'll turn it over to you, Chris. Feel free to tell the parking lot about yourself and then some of the things you're doing right now.
Mm-hmm. Yo, so what's going on, guys? First off, once again, I appreciate it. And then, so I currently help entrepreneurs leverage credit to grow their business and increase their cash flow, right? So that's pretty much just me in a nutshell. And how I pretty much led up to that is I want to say my past life, I was an athlete, right? So, people who look like us, unfortunately, I don't want to say unfortunately, but unfortunately, we don't really see too many people who look like us have success unless they're rappers, athletes, or, drug dealers, right? I was fortunate enough to choose the athlete route, and I was good enough in baseball where it paid for school, pretty much paved the way for school for me. And it was the only way that I felt I was going to be able to change me and my mom's financial situation, right? I grew up in a single parent household, right? So just me and my mom, stuff like that. And we struggled early. So baseball was pretty much my ticket out. Fast forward to 2020, when I graduated, I wanted to go play overseas. Obviously, with COVID, everybody was inside and things like that. So, and you may hear me speak about it a lot throughout, this live, but your environment is one of the biggest influences in your journey. So I just happened to be around somebody who was always talking about credit repair. I understood the importance of credit to an extent, but I was just coming out of college, right? So I wasn't really too familiar. And he spoke about credit repair so much. He's like, yo, bro, I'm going to get you $100,000 in credit. I'm like, okay, cool.
What does that mean, right? At that point, you were like, what does that mean,
Exactly, right? So then he sat me down. So this is June 2020, literally a month after I graduated. June 2020, he sat me down. He got me like a few credit cards. One was an American Express card for 10,000, and then I was able to turn that 10,000 limit into a $29,000 limit. And anybody who doesn't know, American Express will let you 3x your limits after 91 days, right? So just some quick game for you. So if you get approved, say, for 5,000, 91 days after you get approved, you can ask for up to 15,000.
Wow.
So that's how
Gem.
So I'm pretty much able to get these high limit credit cards. I start low. I put all my bills on those credit cards because we're going to pay those bills anyway. And then I was able to run it up. Wow. And then my investment was into recession proof, right? So just think about that. I'm coming out of college. And for those who don't know, recession proof is him 500's mentorship. So I spent 5,000 on that. And 5,000 may sound crazy to a lot of people, but everybody around me was spending 10,000, 15,000, right? Once again, your environment. Ask them, yo, should I spend 5,000? Yeah, hell yeah. What, 5,000 to learn how to, get 100,000 in credit, start a credit repair business, right? So I did that. In January of 2021, I started my credit repair business, and then it went crazy from there. With the
congratulations, by the way. Congratulations. That's an amazing accomplishment. So congratulations there.
And then I was able, to start the credit repair business by leveraging my credit. And then over the next 6 months, I turned a $20,000 limit into 175.
Wow.
And yeah, right now, at first it was cool, right? I was bragging like, yo, listen, I got a 6-figure limit. But then him 500, right? And this was huge for me. This changed the game for me. Him 500, he pretty much humbled me. He was like, okay, having 6 figures of credit is cute, but how many other people have you helped hit 6 credit? I was like, none. Okay.
The piece, yeah.
You're only as successful as the people you help become successful. Right? You're successful as the people you help become successful. So now I switched it from focusing on me. Okay, now how can I help other people? Right? How can I help? That's pretty much how I transitioned to, running up my credit and starting my credit repair business. Now my focus is to help 100 entrepreneurs hit 100K in credit, right? So they can grow their business and increase their cash flow.
Nice. What's your count? What are you up to now?
210. Nice. About 215. Yeah. Nice. I haven't gone too crazy with credit. I'm actually working on running another sequence, another credit stacking sequence. So I'll probably get like another 75 to 100. But once I really don't like speaking about like myself.
Right.
I much highlight, my community and my mentees, because it's easy for me.
Right, for sure. You've already been through the process. You could just rinse and repeat. So entrepreneur count, how many entrepreneurs have helped so far in your credit repair business?
Oh, for credit repair, about, I want to say between 30 and 40.
Nice. Congratulations, man.
And then as far as helping people hit their first 100K, I'm at 7 right now. And then with my community, like my paid community right now, I'm actually about to have my first one crack that 100 mark.
Nice, man. Congratulations. I put your Credit Dispute Heroes link in the live so people can click on and check it out. Feel free to tag any other resources after the live in the comments. For the audience that are watching, any questions you guys have for Chris, definitely drop them in the comments so that we can respond. We can respond to them, get you in the right direction. Or if you need Chris one-on-one, definitely feel free to reach out in the comments or directly to the DM. I love some of the great things you talked about and some key gems I was listening to. I want to rewind it to the piece where American Express within 91 days. Can you take us through, without taking too much from your process, of how does that work in the American Express's world? Is it still something that's active and that you can still kind of go through that process? And when it comes to applications, inquiries, anything of that sort, how does it impact you within 91 days, and how does this all happen?
I got you. Right. So I want to touch on a couple of things. So first off, feel free to reach out to me too. Like, I'm an open book. People who know me, I'm an open book when it comes to credit. Like, I love credit. I love speaking about credit. And I just understand, that is our adult resume. So at a minimum, we should at least have the basic education. So, reach out, shoot me a DM, whether it's in the comments or, whether you want to probably message me. I'm an open book when it comes to that. Now, when it comes to the American Express, so American Express, they pull Experian credit report, meaning that when you apply for American Express, they're going to check your Experian credit report to determine that approval. Now, I recommend you have at least a 700, but I don't want people to get so stuck on the score. It's really on your credit report, and I think that's a huge misconception that a lot of people have, when it comes to personal credit and business credit, that it's really based on your credit report, right? So, I had a relationship with Chase at the time, and Chase is what we consider a tier 1 bank. So I don't really want to get too deep into like, the like the terms and stuff like that. I want to keep it as simple as possible, but I always want relationships with like a Chase, a Wells Fargo, a Citibank, because those are like your higher tier banks. If you have a good relationship with them, other banks who see that, oh, he has Chase, okay, cool. So we know that he's pretty responsible with his finances. You get what I'm saying? So when it comes to American Express, it's always good to build that relationship with them. And there's 2 ways that you can do that. One is you can open up a savings account with them, a personal savings account, because banks is all about relationships, right? It's all about trust and relationships. So from their perspective, if we're about to approve you for 5,000, 10,000, can we trust you with this money that we're about to give you, right? So you have to think about it from their perspective. So if you have, late payments, if you have charge-offs and stuff like that on your credit report, that means that you went so long without paying bills that it got sold. You get what I'm saying? So you want to make sure that before you apply, you have none of those on your credit report. And then going back to the relationship, so one, you can have a savings account, or 2, have somebody add you as an authorized user to their American Express card. Right now, not going to get the age of the credit report, which most people will add an authorized user for. But what you do is now you get them to know you, right? So it's no, and if a guy, he wants to date a girl, right? Or, he wants to ask her out on a date. It's better if you maybe speak to one of her friends, or a mutual friend. Right?
Love that. You're right.
Yo,
Makes
my
that
guy,
pitch
Chris,
a lot easier.
follow him on Instagram, right? So now they don't know you, but they know of you. You get what I'm saying? It's no different with, these banks. Start to build that relationship just so they know your name. So when you apply for them, oh, he has a savings account. Oh, he has an authorized user account. Okay, so he has a relationship. We know him. Maybe you won't get approved for 10,000 like me. Maybe you start off with that 3,000, $4,000, which is still a decent limit, right? So once you get approved, okay, cool. Now, after 91 days of you being approved, you can log into their website, log into your app, and ask for up to 3x your current limit. So if you get approved for 4,000, you can ask for 12,000 after 91 days, just as long as you've been responsible, with that credit card. Then 91 days after that, you can also 3x that again. So you can literally turn a 4K limit, 4K to 12, and then 12 to about a 30K limit just in 180 days. And that's just with one credit card.
And that's from like the credit line increase request, right? Now, when it comes to time frame, you said 91 days. Does it have to be 91 days on the dot or 91 days after? It cannot be before 90 days,
yes.
Correct?
Generally, they want to see 3 statements, right? 3. So 1 statement, right, first month, 2nd statement, the second. After that 3rd statement hits, and they've seen you have 90 days or 3 statements of positive history, maybe you maxed out that card responsibly. And by maxed out that card responsibly, what I recommend doing is putting all your bills on your credit on your credit cards, right? Because we're gonna pay these bills anyway. And let's admit, listen, we're grown, right? So we got grown bills. Maybe we have kids, we got car note, car insurance, maybe we're paying rent and things like that. So put all those bills on that credit card and then just use the money in your bank account to pay off those credit cards, right? So you're showing the bank that you're actually going to use their card. And if you're maxing it out responsibly, they're going to have to give you that credit limit increase. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. And I even saw the other day, there's actually like a small company and a company called Grow Credit or something like that. And allows you to pay your subscriptions through the app. It's like a monthly fee of $10 or something like that. And so you pay your subscription, you pay the monthly fee, and then it counts as an on-time payment or payment history. So if you're already paying for Hulu or Netflix, I'll put the I'll put the app in here as well. But that's another way that you can start reporting on-time payments, history, things of that sort. So that's another cool way. Can you tell us a little bit about? I looked at your website. Absolutely, I love the Dispute Heroes.
Appreciate it.
Can you tell us what does Dispute Heroes mean? Why do you call it that? And some of the things you guys have been working on with there.
Yo, listen, crazy story actually behind the whole Dispute Hero. So when I first started my business, it was called Swift Solutions.
Yeah, I like Dispute Heroes off the back.
Right, so it was Swift Solutions. Now, I don't know if you guys may be familiar with Derek Harper, but he's huge in the credit repair space, or just the coaching space, credit space in general. And he was selling what's called a business in a box, which pretty much you buy a business and it comes with all the systems, the website. It came with a virtual assistant. So my current virtual assistant, I actually bought a business from Harper using my credit card. Right, so I did a couple of things. I bought a business leveraging OPM, and then I bought it on my platinum card. I hit the bonus on my platinum card, right? And I got $100 in points, right? So that's just a little hack. If you get a new credit card, use it for an investment. If it's a personal card, use it as a down payment, right? And just hit your bonus, because now you literally get cash back and money off. Like it's almost like a discount. You know what I'm saying? I was gonna spend that $15,000 anyway, right? So why not get some type of reward from it? And the name I chose was Dispute Heroes, because that's the name that he had available, right? So, and right now my virtual assistant pretty much runs that whole business. I obviously bring the leads in, and I speak to some of the clients who are more personable to me, but I pretty much set up like SOPs, which is just standard operating procedures, or simply just a step-by-step process of how I like things to be done. So he already understands, okay, we got a client, here's the onboarding, they have to upload the documents, send their ID, and then we send their disputes out.
Love it. That's awesome, man. Congratulations again. And so that is a great way to think out of the box. I think we talk to a lot of entrepreneurs, and I've talked to a lot of entrepreneurs, and I see it on the timeline, the feeds, because my target audience is all business. It's like overloaded with business, and I see the gaps in individuals wanting to start, how to start, and a lot of them feel like they have to do it on their own. I mean, look, we've felt like we have to do it on our own. We went through the process, like, we gotta figure this out. Let's do it on our own. But there's steps and programs and people like that can support the process, where you take that stress out, right? If you don't know how to file your LLC or your EIN number, you can take a step like that, and then you're actually just kind of sitting back and letting it get built. You still don't have to do the work, right? Chris still gotta have to show up like he's showing up today and do the work, but at least you don't have that burden behind the operations, the piece, and you have a really good setup. And you get a virtual assistant with it. I would love a virtual assistant. I'm like using Google Sheets. I'm so old school. That's my problem. But there's so many other resources out there, and it's cool that you were able to set up all in one business in a box. So definitely, big shout out, big gem there, business in a box. Can you take us through, like, I guess, the entrepreneurship for you in particular? How do you manage your day-to-day, or how do you plan out your months to continue to grow? Because you're already on a phenomenal track, with your business and some of your content. Your content's another space, man, that's just like phenomenal.
Yeah, appreciate
how are you balancing all this in this crazy entrepreneur world that you're in, and taking care of home?
Listen, I'm gonna be fully transparent. It's tough. It's tough. And I'm still figuring it out, right? And it's a never-ending process of learning what works, trying things, failing, right? But I believe you should definitely fail fast, and fail forward, right?
Yeah, I love that statement.
Because failure is the prerequisite to success. You can't avoid it. It's no different than if you're in high school, and in order to be a senior, you have to take math 101. You have to take English 101. So it's a prerequisite. It's no different than failure when it comes to success. And when you understand that, you want to fail faster. You get what I'm saying? Going back to how I balance everything, it's really just like a week-by-week basis for me. So usually Sundays, I plan out my whole week, and then I will do like a daily review at the end of the day, just to see my numbers, see how many leads we got, see if, my clients may need some updates and things like that. At the end of the week, I do a week recap. Sunday, I do the same thing again. I also have Monday meetings with my assistant, right? So we just plan the week. Like, hey, Mike, this is the focus for the week. And then we have a call on Thursday. Thursday is to see, what we've done, right? So we can end the week on Friday on a positive note, leading into that.
Like it. Awesome, man. Yeah, I mean, I think planning is super important, right? Because then when you start planning effectively for the month, for the week, then you're not chasing the process. You're not chasing, you will definitely continue to chase the dream and your vision, but you don't want to feel like you're always playing catch up. Like, oh, what am I going to do this week? What am I going to do this month? And then you start to lose your focus of what you really want to accomplish. So, any other gems you want to tell we talked about some great things already. We talked about, your process and how you started. And we talked about also the credit piece. Is there anything, as you would say, that you kind of wish someone would have gave you a little bit of guidance on as you started as an entrepreneur, or if you could go back, some things you would have just rebuild on?
Yeah. Oh man, a handful of things. Especially, I definitely want to highlight some of my losses too, because I feel like, unfortunately, with social media, a lot of people like to glorify all their wins and not really show, the actual process that it takes to, be that winner, right? There's a lot of losses, right? So one of the biggest things for me was that I was focused on way too many things, right? I had a bunch of credit. I started my credit repair business. I wanted to get into drop shipping. I wanted to get into Toro. I wanted to get everything. Right? Listen, focus on that one thing first.
Love that.
One thing, be known for that one thing, right? So when somebody says my name, they automatically think about credit, right? Automatically think about credit. They're not thinking about he does Toro on the weekends, he does credit on Mondays and Wednesdays, and then he makes Airbnbs on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Right.
Right. Focus on one thing first, master that, automate that, right? But whether hiring a virtual assistant or you replace yourself with systems, I'm saying, whether that's go high level or something like that, and then once you have consistent cash flow, then you can start moving to something else. So that was a huge lesson that I learned, right? Because I recently took, not recently, but like about 4 or 5 months ago, I took like a 25K loss because I put money into drop shipping, and then Walmart stores were getting shut down, Amazon stores were getting shut down.
Wow.
Facing that, which is part of the game.
Right. But you learn, I can only imagine some of the things you learned with drop shipping. I had a pleasure to do some drop shipping when my first company was a hair extension company for women, and we learned all about drop shipping. But it taught me the operation piece and the planning, and it's a lot. So
that's definitely one lesson that I like to give people. Listen, make sure you focus on one thing first, master that first, and then on top of that, don't try to automate too fast, because that's what I did. I tried to automate too fast, and it cost me in the beginning with my credit repair service, hiring a virtual assistant. So I had to actually get back into my business, learn every single part of my business, how it needed to be run. Then I can create, a step-by-step process to get my virtual assistant, because now that's the standard, right? That's the standard how I like, my business runs. So that's a huge lesson there. And then also too, just constantly surround yourself with people who are better than you. Constantly, because if you're the best person in your circle, then you have a ceiling. There's only so far that you can go. But I'm around people having 5-6 figure months, even days.
Wow.
Right? So I'm watching how they move. I'm watching how they think and how they process things. You know what I'm saying? So now, eventually, I'm going to start having these 5-figure days, 6-figure days with the patience and consistency, as long as I just do, what they tell me, right? So that's, just a little game on the entrepreneur part. Now, I definitely want to give a lot of game on the funding side, because that's where like I'm leaning to, right? Because my main goal this year, is non-negotiable for me.
I like that.
100 entrepreneurs with 100K in credit. I want to build a community, with 100 entrepreneurs with 100K. One, because I want to give somebody else the tools that changed my life. And then also two, just think about that. If 100 entrepreneurs in one group with 100K, that's $10 million.
That's a lot of money in the room. That's a lot of money in the room.
So now we can start start buying businesses, we can start collaborating and things like that. And we have so much buying power, right? So that's like the end goal of, my whole mentorship that I got. And then, and that whole process is pretty much broken down into 3 steps. So I don't know, like how most people teach business credit, you have some people doing no PG and things like that, but I'm big on PG, right? I'm on PG because that was my
point. There's a point in business credit where it's like you need the PG. I mean, at some point you need the PG. Like when it comes to loan or credit card, there's a PG moment.
Of course. And even for new businesses, right? I had just started a new business. I don't have that 2 years in business. I don't have, $1 million in revenue. So I leverage my personal credit to get business credit. Now, because I focused on my personal credit and had, that American Express card for $29,000, Navy Federal for another $29,000, they saw, oh, listen, he got high limits on the personal side. Okay, let's match him on the business side. You get what I'm saying?
And you're going to get double fold on the business. You're always going to get the second, the times 2, that's going to happen.
Exactly, right? So, that's pretty much the fastest way that I teach how to get business credit is by, listen, make sure you take care of your personal, then make sure your business is set up to be fundable, because that's something that a lot of people miss, right? It's cool to have your LLC, filed, EIN, your DMB, and a business bank account, but there's little things that you need to have so you have a better chance of being approved. So, that's
how you gonna make money. That's not to cut you off. That's a super important piece to all the entrepreneurs, is that when you're creating your business plan and you got your vision, right? It's how is it gonna drive? How's it gonna impact other people's lives? How are you gonna serve them to see your vision and your value? But then 2, it's gotta flow into some revenue, right? Because once you get the business credit and you get the approvals for your loan, you're going to be stumped again and say, oh, well, what am I going to spend this money on, right? Because you haven't established the vision. So you got to establish the vision to understand, like, okay, if I get $50,000 in business credit, how do I turn that 50 to 250? Or how do I do it to 500,000? So that's got to be the process. And to your point, I see people get business credit. I've gotten business credit, and it's just like, when you spend that money, is that money making you money again? Is it passive? Is it passive? If it's not passive, you're doing it wrong. You're hurting yourself, because who's going to pay it back? You going to go back in your personal account and pay it back, or the business not paying it back? So you got to establish, to your point, your very good point, you have to establish that vision and that funnel of how to make money back to your business.
For sure, right? So having a business plan, but even deeper than that, right? Having a professional email, so not, a Gmail account, right? Because we want to separate our personal from our business. So you want to make sure that it's, Chris@disputeheroes.com, right? That's one of my emails for my business, right? So I look more professional. And just take Chase, for example. If I were to work at Chase, my name would be Chris@jpmorgan.com, right? So if we're trying to get money from these same banks, we have to look like these banks, right? So they know, okay, he's official. He has his email, the phone number that you can go ahead and get from like Ring Central, Freedom Voice, and like $10 a month. For the email, you can go to GoDaddy for the domain. Then Google Workspace, like
I love Google. Oh man, Google is such a gem. Man. Please, everybody, if any can take a lot of things, you take a lot of things from this live, but one thing, just look into Google, because that's the mastermind behind SEO. It's the mastermind of your being organized, and they give you so many tools, and a lot of the tools are free. Like a lot of them are free.
Exactly.
So
exactly. Right. Google Workspace, $6 a month. You have a professional email and things like that, right? So it's super important, right? So the first step is to make sure that you have good personal credit, right? 100% payment history, low utilization, very low inquiries, right? 2 or less. And then once your personal credit structured, make sure your business is set up properly, right? So pretty much going down what I just mentioned. And then you get to the fun part, which is secure the bag, right? So now all these banks that you built relationships with, now you can walk in there with your chest out confident, knowing that they're about to give you some money. Can you trip into some funding? Of course, right? You can push some buttons and get some funding, but we're not looking, for accidental funding. Right. We're looking, going in there with a purpose of, hey, listen, I want 50 to 100,000, and you're going to give it to me because, look, my personal credit is good. I got a few credit cards over 5,000-10,000, and my business is, set up.
Revenue. Yeah. Very, very, very cool, man.
Well, and then another gem on that, even if your business may not do revenue right away, which not every business may do, I recommend getting, 0% APR credit cards. So you have the American Express Blue Plus, Blue Cash. Elon Financial is a bank that backs a lot of banks, so you have MidPen, MBKC, Bryn Mawr Trust that have 0% APR for 18 to 20 months.
Mm-hmm.
Just think about that. If you max out a $20,000 credit card, the minimum payment is only $200.
Right.
I'm going to report to your person.
Right.
$200 is very attainable for your business to generate. Use that profit to pay off those credit cards, and essentially you're no money out of pocket if you do it right.
There you go. Yeah, that's Robert Katashi's. That man. He talks a lot about this. I listen to him a lot. He's because when you borrow from the bank, it's zero. It's the bank's money. You're not using other people's money. You use 0%. Mm-hmm. So borrowing from the bank is amazing, but you got to get to the bank first, right? Before you pull up, you got to make sure you're ready to get it. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it in a wrap. I mean, Chris, you've been phenomenal tonight. I appreciate the gems, your story, everything you talked about with the Entrepreneur Parking Lot. Again, your link is tagged in the comments. But guys, if you have any questions for Chris, make sure you drop them in the comments. Mm-hmm. Tell us about what you do for business, how we can help. And the purpose of this Entrepreneur Parking Lot is if we can't get you the answers, we'll find the right entrepreneurs, or you'll meet the right entrepreneurs that can find you the answers. I saw something a couple days ago that someone needed help finding like something for their business around like a support or a resource and tool, and I didn't have it, so I sent it to the group. Someone tagged, I think it was Carlos, it was his name, was able to help out Maria, and then Maria set for her week, and if we could do that every single day for each other as entrepreneurs, I mean, we'll be a successful country. So
competition. I'm huge on collaborating. Yeah. Just look at me. You do business credit, I do business credit, so we could have easily been like, nah, I'm not gonna bring them on my platform. Or
we're not doing that. We're here to help. We're here to grow. Because it comes back full circle, and you got to be able to serve the community because there's just so much wrong information out there. This is the reason why I was like, well, my number 2 spot in business was like, I got to stop all the wrong. Like, I would try my best. I can't take on the world, but I know we could take on it together as entrepreneurs. But I was like, all the bashing, all the wrong information, all the bad gems, I was like, I'm tired of seeing it. So I was so sick because it's like when you get wrong information from one person, everybody ruins it for the next 20, 30 people. And then that's not fair to the genuine, hardworking entrepreneurs. So we're going to kick down some doors, knock over some doors to get a job done. But thanks so much, Chris. I appreciate the time. Again, guys, if you need anything, if you want to be sponsored or you also want to come on the Entrepreneur Parking Lot, we do this every single week. We try to get it done each week. So definitely feel free to shoot myself a DM, or you can shoot to the admin team. We have Sean, we have Angelica. Shout out to Jay as well. So definitely reach out to them if you can't get to me, and let's keep changing the lives for the better. I appreciate the time, Chris.
For sure. And before we hop off, I just want to give you your flowers, right? Because a lot of people don't realize how hard it is to do what you're doing, right? You have a family, you have your own business. So you could be just doing, keeping all these resources and stuff to yourself, but you're actually coming on here, bringing people like me, adding resources to the group and things like that to help other entrepreneurs when you really don't have to be doing that, right? So I know how hard that is, right? So I definitely give a lot of respect for you.
Thank you.
Definitely
appreciate
that, right? Because I don't feel like we do that enough, right? We don't highlight other people, for doing their thing and things like that. So that's one of my goals this year. I definitely want to start my own podcast too. So that's coming in the next 60 days. And, just to highlight entrepreneurs, highlight their stories, and give them a platform, to help the masses.
Love it. Well, we look forward to all your news. Again, let us know how you're doing in the group. Blow it up. We'll do the same. I follow him on IG. His IG is amazing. So definitely check it out. Chris, you can tag it too. His content's really great. So much success to everybody out there. Success to you, Chris. And everyone have a great weekend. Let's keep working, please.
Let's do it.
All
Let's
right.
do it.
See you again. Take care. Have a good night.